So, you know, when I look at retention and recruiting, I would say this: retention trumps recruiting, right? Not Donald Trump, like trumps as in it is more important than recruiting. Recruiting's the easy thing. Relationships are more important than recruiting. And I would even say retailing is more important than recruiting, because retailing actually leads to some of the very best distributors that I've seen in our organization. So let's talk about, we're going to break this into two buckets for you guys. One are the things that we're doing that, and we can do to increase retention, to increase the number of people who stay. And in the second bucket, we're going to talk about the retention killers, the things that we may be doing or are doing that could be killing retention. So Wes, let me turn it over to you and give us one idea of how we could increase retention on our teams.
Well, I've always come from the place that I don't want to have, to me, if my only job is recruit every single month forever, because I'm not retaining or I'm not building relationships, I'm not building rapport, we're not getting productivity from people, then in effect, that's a job. I might as well have a job because we're starting from zero every single month or every quarter. So I've always worked on the basis of let's try and make the people that we have in our business feel good for their achievement because they're moving out their comfort zone, feel part of something, feel welcome, feel it doesn't matter, you know, they're swimming in their lane, everybody else is swimming in theirs. And we shouldn't be making them because he's not in the fast lane. Because everybody's on different journeys. We all come from completely different backgrounds, educations, relationship, you know, so many different factors when people join our business. That for some people in my organization, getting 5 customers in a month is an astonishing achievement. For some people, getting 1 customer in a month is an astonishing achievement. Whereas you've got people that will get 10 in a month and that'll be a bad month for them. And I think we have to be conscious of celebrating them, whatever level, if they are pushing beyond the boundary of normality, if they are trying to push themselves out their comfort zone, if they are trying to better their lives in some way, we have to recognize and celebrate that, make them feel good, make them feel welcome whenever we get the chance to. And I would just say, by the way, for those that are watching it home, if you do think there is some value in your team being better timelines or whatever else, because there's some great, you know, going to be some great free content here. But one of the things I picked up from an interview you did actually with Orrin Woodward, maybe 5 or 6 or 7 years ago now, that I think is somewhere on the Mastermind site. And Orrin, who's a master of culture building and retention, was talking about something I'd never heard put before, and that was about what he described as the cookie eaters. The people that turn up each month to the events, that maybe don't do anything from month to month, but they still keep turning up and they're happy to be there. Now, in some cultures, those people will be talked about. They'll be criticized. Oh, what's Terry and Sally turning up for? You've got to celebrate them and love them where they're at. Because as soon as we start criticizing those people, our team around us, our current circle, our favorites, in the back of their mind, they'll be thinking, I wonder what he's going to say about me. I wonder what he's going to say about me when I leave. I wonder what he's going to say about me if I have a bad month because I've got to look after the children or, you know, my mum or something like that. And I think that was such a groundbreaking point for me in terms of making us realize that we have to celebrate everybody where we're at, but we cannot be forming little cliques within our organization where we are disrespecting from people who are on a different place in their journey.
Yeah. You know, there's a couple of, you bring up so many, I mean, literally this could be a 20-hour talk and we wouldn't even cover the point. I have, right now, Wes, I have 43 items on a list that help me with retention on my team. And just in the last 2 days, I've added 2 more items. It's incredible. So a couple of pointers for those of you listening to what Wes had to share. One, Orrin Woodward and I, we did this series called The Laws of Decline in direct selling. And if you go to youtube.com/mastermind event, youtube.com/mastermind event, and then you'll see there's some playlists there. And one of the playlists is the laws of momentum and the laws of decline. And we did that while it was raining, but the content on those, and Wes, you've heard them, that has a lot to do with retention, the laws of decline. Number 2, I saw Cindy in the comments there. She talked about that they do CAP parties, CAP, customer appreciation parties, and those are phenomenal and great to have and to do. And we had one of the presenters last year. She talked about, you know, customer appreciation parties at the Mastermind last year, Jennifer, and we're going to be releasing those recordings of last year this week. So we're going to have a place where you can go and watch 3 of the presentations live, and then for I don't know how much it's going to be, but you get to watch all of last year for a limited time and go catch up on those. But one of those is the customer appreciation parties, and you want to check that out. Wes, you know, you bring up something that's really interesting, and it's so subtle, but it's easy to miss. We used to teach, you know, talk to 5 people a day. And if we figured that if everybody talked to 5 people a day, we would grow faster, right? It's the logical, what we call spreadsheet marketing. You punch it into a spreadsheet, and 5 who talk to 5 every day, and we have 100 people on the team who all talk to 5 every day, all right, I'm going to be a millionaire, right? So it looks good on the spreadsheet. And sometimes some people go, well, 5 sounds good, but 10, if we put 10 in the spreadsheet, that's even better. So let's tell people to talk to 10 people a day, and that's normal. So I used to have these leadership, well, I still do, but when we have leadership events, I ask, you know, the leaders, and these are the best of the best, right? And I say, how many of you talk to 5 people today? And a few people might raise their hands. And then I'll say, well, how many of you talked to the 5 other people yesterday? And then 5 other people the day before. And before you know it, all the hands are down, right? Because even the top leaders are not talking to 5 people a day consistently. And so when we were teaching that, without realizing, that was a retention killer, because we put out as the norm something that was unattainable for most people. And most people do this business part-time. So we dropped it down, West, to 2 people a day. He said, just go and connect with 2 people a day. Just go make 2 new friends a day. Connect with them. Be thoughtful with them. And we thought that'd be great. And it did better. You know, retention went up. But again, most people didn't consistently do 2 a day. And here's where we're at today, where is the best retention that we've had to date, and that is do at least 1. Yeah, it starts with 1. Just make 1 new contact today. And then there are the outliers, as Wes was talking about, the ones that do 10 a day because they're on a run for 60 days, 90 days, whatever they're doing. And those people, they don't need to get on a call and say, I did 10 today and 10 yesterday and 10 the next day, because that's disheartening. All they need to do is say, I did my 1, or I did at least 1, right? I just did my 1. So now it's consistent across the board that everybody can say, we did my 1, even if you did 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. And that creates a whole new culture in your team where people go, wow, if I did 1 a day, which is 365 people a year, you're going to find some good customers and distributors from that. Then you can have success. And the overachievers can overachieve, but it doesn't become the standard. So a lot of times we make the mistake of what the overachievers do and pointing to that as the standard, when that is actually what you would call confirmation bias, right? It's survivor bias. It's outlining the people who have achieved this in a really strange way that isn't normal and making that the norm. And the moment we make that the norm, we've got all these people that look at that and hear about it over and over and eventually say, hey, there's no way I can do that. And they're gone, and we don't know what happened to them. So, you know, some great points there, Wes.
Can I just cut in there and say that one of the challenges that the high achievers will have, and I think it would be fair to put myself and yourself in the high achiever category, you know, because we have you know, a higher level of success in our businesses. But I think both of us have had an empathy for the fact that I think where sometimes high achievers fall down, and if you're watching this right now and you are a high achiever, good, you know, good on you, and absolutely good on you. But one of the mindsets that sometimes high achievers have is, well, surely everybody would want what I have. Surely everybody would want, you know, $5,000 a month, 10,000, 50,000, whatever it might be. Surely everybody would want 6 cars in the drive. Surely everybody would want, you know, 3 swimming pools or whatever. And they have this mindset that, well, why wouldn't everyone want? Why can't everyone do what I can do? And I think you get to that point, and I'm sure I had that in my earlier days in my business, that you get to the point where you realize that that just isn't the way it is. That just isn't the way it is. And so sometimes it's very important, the point you mentioned there, that the guy that gets 10, if he's going on a call for people to confirm they got 1, he doesn't need to be telling everyone he got 10 necessarily, just that he also did his 1. Because I do think that we, the people in the high achiever camp, in the high achiever category, can disaffect people, can turn them off if they are kind of bullying at them, if they are shouting at them, if they are kind of slapping them across the face verbally with that kind of rhetoric, which is, well, you could be better, you should be better, why aren't you better, why aren't you like me? Even if they're not saying those words, it's that comes across to the people that are working at their pace, that I think can definitely disaffect them. Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. Now, you know, I'm a nerd by trade, right? I love technology. I'm a left-brain person. I studied to be an electrical engineer before I quit that and did direct selling for a living as an entrepreneur for a living. But here's what all I want you to understand as you're watching this. You don't have to go do the math. If you want to go plug it into a spreadsheet, you can. But if you increase the retention in your organization by 1%, just 1%, right? 1% better than what you have it now. If you increase it by 1% and you compound that over a 5-year period, you're going to literally, you can kill a team that's out recruiting you 10-1 and not having good retention, right? That retention, that 1% retention on your top line is absolutely phenomenal, right? That retention, that's how you get to organizations that do $1 million a month, $1 million a week, $1 million a day. I mean, Sarah Robbins is coming into the mastermind event, and her organization does $1 billion with a B dollars a year in sales. That doesn't happen with a pure focus on recruiting, right? That happens with a very strong focus on retention. Because another way to think about it is if you're starting off every month and you have this many distributors and that many leave, it's like digging a hole and then having to fill in that hole at the beginning of the next month before you can gain momentum again, right? And you don't want to keep filling up those holes. So here's a couple of quick tips on retention. One thing I love doing is in the morning when I wake up, I have my quiet time, I do my reading time, and then I also send out 10 text messages, right? I say pick up my phone and I send out 10 text messages to 10 people within the organization to encourage them. That's it. They're just encouraging messages. Hey, I hope you're doing great. Might be on Snapchat if that's where I connect with them. Might be on Viber. Might be on WhatsApp. Might be Facebook Messenger. However I connect with them. Most of the time it's just on text messaging. And I send out 10 messages of appreciation, that I appreciate them, that I like them. Can I do anything to help them? That's it. And you know how long that takes? That takes about 3 minutes. 3 minutes. But doing that every day has made a huge difference. Those people are connected to me. They know that I'm being thoughtful with them, and I'm not doing it to be strategic. I'm doing it actually to be thoughtful. And if that duplicates on your team and you have 1,000 people on your team who each send out 10 messages in the morning encouraging 10 of their team members, you'll see what that does to your business. It's absolutely